Hi, thanks for tuning in again. I am Paul Chartier. This is a nonprofit I know you've not heard of, Arbor Youth Services. Stephanie Spires, the executive director, and Shaquita Andrews, the Safe Place coordinator.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
People have no idea who you are.
No.
You're brand new.
We're not, though. We have been here since 1976.
I thought so.
And we serve over 500 youth a year.
How come no one's heard of you?
So the kids clearly know we're here, but no one in the professional community knows that this program exists.
Well, you know what? This is going to change everything.
That's our hope.
Okay? You've been around for 30-some years.
Mm-hmm.
Why have people not heard of you? Because that's an outrage.
I think people just aren't really even aware of the issue of childhood homelessness in our community. Arbor Youth Services has several children's services, but our most well-known service is that we are the only Safe Place designated children's shelter in Central Kentucky. So we serve kids from 6 weeks to 17 in our shelter.
Let me understand this. We have kids in Lexington that are homeless.
Yes.
How does that happen?
There's a variety of ways that happens. We're seeing, unfortunately, an increase in young childhood homelessness, and we aren't sure what is the driving factor. There's some different discussions, whether it's child care assistance or, the recession or whatnot, but whatever it is, we're seeing more young kids come into care. And unfortunately, Lexington doesn't really have a family shelter, as in, what we're seeing a lot more is we're seeing single dads. And when you have single dads and they have children, there isn't a location really in our community for single dads. So single dads might be at the Hope Center, and their kids will come over to our center. We also have homeless teenagers, and sometimes it's the same situation. We have a couple of youth right now, their dad's at the Hope Center, and they're with us. But they're teenagers, so it runs the gamut as to why people are in that situation. But also in our shelter, we have foster kids that are removed in the middle of the night, or foster kids that have a disruptive placement, kids who've maybe, this cabinet has removed them, but they're doing really well in school academically, they're on the football team, they're in choir, and so they don't want to find them a foster home out of county, so they come and stay at our shelter until a home opens up in their school district. Because we do take the kids to all their activities, to all their classes, to their jobs if they're employed, to extracurriculars.
It's mind-boggling. Shaquita, you mentioned before that you go out actively looking for homeless kids.
Yes.
How does that happen?
Yes, we, me and my partner, the street outreach coordinator, we go out to like Phoenix Park, to the local libraries, or to other local warm places that the homeless youth would congregate, and we'll go out and pass out our information and cards and let them know that we are out there.
So you see people that are kids
Yes.
that are on the street, and you approach them. Are they frightened of you?
No, we approach them as letting them know that we're their friend, and we understand their situation, and we're just here trying to help.
And so the reaction's good
Yes.
on their part. Is it like a relief on their part that finally someone's here to save me?
Yes, because a lot of the youth doesn't know that there is resources out there
Right.
that they can use and can come in contact with, and so we just let them know that we're there, and we're here to help them and help them get back on their feet.
What's the youngest person you found on the street?
I have found a 16-year-old.
And was he or she already in school?
He was not.
And then what happened?
We helped enroll him in school, and we also contacted his parents, and then he ended up going back home and enrolling in school there.
So are some of these kids like runaways, or they just don't want to go back home? I mean, how do they end up on the street?
Some are kicked out. We probably see 2 or 3
That's
kids
lovely.
a month who their parents just say, I'm done.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some are runaways. Oftentimes, though, you can learn a lot from a runaway child. We have kids who their parents say they're out of control, but yet they're going to school. So, we had a young boy a few months ago who I got a call from his school because he had spent the night under a bridge and was covered in mosquito bites, but he showed up at school that day. And so that's really telling if a kid will show up at school that makes you concerned that there is something at that child's home that's not safe.
You're a safety net, a landing place for kids, and you go out proactively and identify and get them back into some helpful situation. For people watching, we don't want people to think I can leave home and go to you.
Right.
Do you have beds in Arbor? Where are you located, if you're able to tell me, and how does the program work?
So we are located in 2 old houses on West 3rd Street between Newtown and Jefferson. The way you can see it is the Safe Place location, so you'll see the big Safe Place sign. Shaquita, the Safe Place coordinator, has done a great job of really adding Safe Place locations this year. So like some public libraries, the fire stations, the Carnegie Center, the East 7th Street Kids Cafe, a lot of locations throughout Lexington. You can go to those sites and they know how to contact us. We do have 10 beds in our emergency shelter. We are adding 5 beds late winter. We're in the final stages of doing some renovations to be able to add those beds. Because the typical child does not stay with us that long, because we really are that landing pad, and then we try to get them into a more permanent solution. So, last year in the shelter we served over 330 youth, but it's a constant revolving door, and we never know who we're going to get. We may have 2 this morning and 10 tonight.
A young person comes in, stays with you. At what point, if you can't locate their parents, you can't locate someplace for them to go, what happens?
In that case, we would work with the cabinet, because at that point they would be a neglected child. And so the cabinet would step in and try to find a permanent foster situation or independent living or transitional living. And we work really closely with the cabinet on those situations.
I've been around for a number of years in the nonprofit world. I've not heard of Arbor. For the other 95% that haven't either, that want to do something, what can they do, and how are you funded?
Well, I think that may be a reason a lot of people haven't heard from us, is historically we've been funded by the city, we've been funded by federal grants, and so there was never this need to go out and fundraise and really get the name out.
Visibility, right.
Right. And myself, I didn't know the organization existed until, as a foster parent, I had to access the services there for one of our children. And that's really when I became aware that the center was there, and that they have after school, and they have street outreach and Safe Place and the shelter, and they serve over 500 kids. The times are changing, and unfortunately, federal grants are decreasing. Additionally, our buildings are over 100 years old, so they need upkeep. The city funds are decreasing, but our clientele is increasing. Every program we have is busting at the seams. And so we're working on collaborating with other organizations in the community. People keep talking about, well, if Florence Crittenden's closing, will that increase your numbers? And the answer is no, because we served almost every child that was at Florence Crittenden home last year, because they came to us before they went to Florence Crittenden, before they had beds open. So we really need community support. We need to expand all of our, we really are hoping in the future to build a new emergency shelter for the children in our community. Because right now we're kind of on top of each other, and I really would like to be able to not have 4-year-olds sleeping in the same room with 15-year-olds. So that's really a need. We need everything. Our kids need household items. We go through pots and pans and silverware.
So this
clothing.
is how this is going to work. Okay, we're on channel 3 and 14. Channel 3 and 14. We have a Facebook link. You're going to take that link. You're going to send that to companies that you know and are potential sponsors and partners in Lexington. And when you're at your desk or home watching this Facebook link and hearing the story, I'm making a plea to you to please, with a phone number and website Stephanie's about to give you, please use personal dollars, corporate dollars to help these kids in town that are homeless. That boggles my mind. What's your phone number and what's your website? Our
phone number is 859-254-2501, and the website is arborky.org. And you can even email just at safe, S-A-F-E, at arborky.org. And we would love to have you come down. The center is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, so feel free to stop by anytime and we'll show you what we do.
In the last few minutes, Laquita and Stephanie, you probably have great connectivity to the young people.
Yes.
Share a great story of a youngster that you've encountered?
Just recently we encountered a young male. He came to us when he was 17, and we have helped him get into his own apartment. He has a job. He has now became married, and he is doing well.
Great. And why have you gotten involved in this organization? Why do you love working for Arbor?
I love working at this agency because it's all about connecting with the youth and helping another person. If I just help one youth, then that means the world to me than any monetary anything.
And it's not about money.
Right.
It's not about money. It's about making a difference.
Yes.
And when you can change a child's life times 300 and look at maybe a path that they may be on that's not good, and how that bad path would affect a number of families and the community, by getting them on the right path, you're kind of like angels in Lexington.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I mean, I think it's really interesting, you know, just a kid the other day came up to me and he has his first apartment, and another 18-year-old,
Yes.
and he was homeless 6 months ago with his wife and their infant child, and he said, you know, 6 months ago I would have never imagined that I'd have my own apartment and that I'd have a job and be self-sufficient. And it's just, you know, it's amazing to hear these stories, but we see these stories every day, multiple times a day.
For young people that are not involved in the educational system, do you talk to them about GEDs and
Yes.
things like that?
Yes.
And what kind of partnership do you have with the folks that provide those services?
We have partnered with the LEAP program, and we also encourage them to go to Job Corps if they don't know what to do, and they can also get a diploma or a GED there, plus also gain a trade. So.
And in the last minute, again, I want you to give the phone number again and the website, because, you know, youth, they're going to be around for 60, 70 more
Yes.
years. You change them now, that's a great future ahead of them.
Yes.
Give the phone number.
859-254-2501, and the website is www.arborky.org.
And I've already made a plea in the last minute. You make your own plea to people watching to partner with Arbor Youth Services.
You know, I think you said it right. These kids are our future. These kids are our community, and they are out in the streets, and we really need to step in. We've done a lot for adult homelessness in our community, and we really need to remember that there are children on the streets as young as just a few weeks old, and we need to work together as a community. We're working and collaborating with other partners, but we would love to have individuals and corporations come along and partner with all of us and the other agencies.
Funding,
Yes.
items, jobs, the whole bit.
Yes.
Contact you, you'll take care of these young people.
Yes,
we
we'd love
will.
to connect people together.
You're angels.
Thank you.
What a great way to kick off the new year. Thank you for affecting our youth and our community, because God loves you and them. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am Paul Chartier. Happy New Year, everybody. Please pick up the phone, look at the website. Great things are happening. And with these two ladies and Kathy Plowman, who we just saw, with her organization, the future of Lexington is happening right here, and we thank you for it. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching Heart of Gold. Pass on the link to other people. Make a difference. Please have a great and happy New Year. I'm Paul Chartier.